if you really care about freedom of the press, it's time to act, because it's time to do something. It's time to make a fuss. It's time to protest, because if they can put in jail Julian Assange, if they will go after him and put him in jail for life, they will destroy freedom of the press. The last 10 years I have worked as a media partner of WikiLeaks for my newspaper, initially the Italian news magazine L'Espresso and now the Italian daily La Repubblica. I have realized that basically WikiLeaks is willing to take huge risks, both from a legal and from an extra-legal point of view. So take, for example, when they help Edward Snowden, no one wanted to help. I'm not sure you realize that basically in 2013 Snowden was abandoned in Hong Kong after exposing the NSA mass surveillance. And had it not for WikiLeaks, had it not for Sarah Harrison, the journalist who flew to Hong Kong to help him, had it not for Julian Assange and for the WikiLeaks team, Edward Snowden would be sitting in a US jail. If you really care about freedom of the press, if you really want the press able to expose power at the highest level, the level where state, diplomacies, and intelligence services move, if you want to expose a press able to expose war crimes, torture, and serious human rights violation by agencies which are basically accountable to no one, like the CIA, like the Pentagon, and many others, well, it's time to act. It's time to protest. It's time to go to the street and protest, because this case goes far beyond Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. According to the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, he has been tortured, basically subjected to psychological torture for the last 9 years. They are killing him slowly. They basically want to break him down, like they have done with terrorists and people like this. I mean, he's a kind of sweet person, intellectual person, so you can imagine how hard it is for him to stay in a high security prison after spending 9 years arbitrarily detained, initially under house arrest and then confined to a tiny building in the Ecuadorian embassy in London with not even an hour outdoors. So you can imagine now the impact of a high security prison on a person who had this experience in the last 9 years. So what they want is killing him slowly, very quietly, and they want him out of the mainstream press. You see very little debate, very few articles about him. They want him out of the sight of people so that people don't think about him. I like how artists are trying to help Julian Assange, and artists like Ai Weiwei, artists like the Italian David Dormino and his artwork, Anything to Say, the artwork like We Are Millions. What this kind of artistic projects do is basically to keep Julian Assange relevant for public opinion, to keep his face in the street so that people think about it, because what the US, what the UK governments want is to make his face disappear, his case disappear from the public domain, so that there is no sorts of initiative, there is no opposition about his extradition to the US. They want to keep the case as quiet as possible, so that there is no protest on the street, there is no fuss, and so they are able to do whatever they want.